All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Black Folks Doing Extraordinary Things. This is a show dedicated to just exposing all of the wonderful, amazing things that Black people are doing in our world, both to just simply make it a better place and to make a living. So today I am joined by Genesis Briggs, aka Genesis B, and I'm super, super excited. It's been so long since we've connected, so I'm really excited to just hear about your life and your journey and where things have taken you. So to start us off, just would love to hear a quick intro from you. We know your name, but your age or ballpark, if you're comfortable, where you're based
Yeah,
and
sure.
what it is that you do.
Absolutely. It's really good to see you. I don't think I saw you since the Clive Davis Institute
I
at
know,
NYU. I'm
I
so
know.
proud of you, what you're doing, and you look
Appreciate
great.
you. Likewise.
Um, so I'm 34 years old. My name's Genesis B. I am a art activist from Biloxi, Mississippi. Probably best known for my work in helping to remove the Confederate emblem from the Mississippi state flag. A work that started way before me. That flag flew for 121 years, ballpark, before it changed last year, so we were successful in our efforts and the ancestors' efforts to remove that symbol of hatred from our state flag. And maybe also known for my music. I'm a hip hop artist, so I kind of use hip hop and the lessons that I learned in being bold and unapologetic in my approach and in my speech to cater to that particular cause.
So what does your day-to-day look like? How do you sort of integrate the activism side of things with being a hip hop artist?
My day to day has changed drastically, just like many people, not just from the quarantine, but, when COVID really hit us and changed our lives was like March of 2020. In June of 2020 was when the Mississippi state flag, they passed the vote to actually remove it. And then during quarantine, I was also on a 6-month national tour, an in-person tour. So during COVID.
Oof.
So my day to day since coming off of that tour, since coming off of that victory has changed drastically. I'm now doing my art and my activism full time without having to lean on a 9 to 5 to support myself and pay my bills. I guess, people are able to see my visions more clearly, my bigger ideas more clearly, and say, hey, like she knows what she's doing. She's able
Yeah.
to collaborate and accomplish and manifest these ideas that she has, no matter how bold
Mm,
they sound. So that has catered to my ability to be more sustained through my purpose. My purpose sustains me now, which I'm
mm.
very, very grateful for. And I wouldn't have imagined I'd be here at this age.
That's wild, but so amazing. How did you kind of get to that place where you were like, you know what, it's time for me to leave my 9 to 5 because I need to focus my efforts completely, entirely on the things I'm passionate about and on my purpose, like you said.
Sure. I started that particular journey in March of 2016. I was working as an event coordinator in New York for Friedfeld Ace Hotel. I was working as an event coordinator with their space there, and it was a salary position, benefits, all these secure
All the
things.
fun
But
stuff to lure
yeah,
you in to get you to stay there.
and I was always doing my art and activism on the side, as you know, even in college.
Oh,
I was
yes.
really just always deep into this. I decided to just quit my job. I meditated on it. I talked to the ancestors. I spoke to my creator and said, I know that there's something that you want me to do. And I took that leap of faith. And I didn't have a lot of money saved up. I literally, that was March of 2016 when I put in my notice. Literally the next month, April of 2016, I did this protest against the Confederate Heritage Month, the state flag, that went viral, and it just like launched me into this national platform, and it just snowballed from there. So literally a month after I made this really hard decision, scary, scary, scary decision, but I had to trust what I was feeling inside. I knew that
Right,
there was
right.
something that a purpose that I wasn't giving my all to, because of a fear-based energy of attachment to security, attachment to money, if attachment to what my parents or some, my society, community wants me to do. I had to rip all of that off. And it was really the hardest things, but literally the month after, I'm telling you, like where I am today is because of that decision back in 2016. It just snowballed from there.
Things just take off when it's kind of like you just let go of fear and just trust in yourself, trust in whoever it may be. Maybe it's your ancestors, maybe it's a higher being, maybe it's whatever, just energy, source energy, right? And I don't know, I had a similar experience where I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to be afraid, I'm just do it. So I hear you. That's so dope. I guess kind of just taking it back, how did you get into this Confederate flag project? Because that was huge. Like it was everywhere. I don't know if anybody's looked this up, but I remember like following it and I was like, dang, Genesis is out here making moves. Like, how did you even, like, how was that even an idea that you had? And then how did you actually get them to take it down?
I didn't get them to take it down. Okay. Absolutely. But I come from a background of civil rights activists. My grandfather, Reverend Clyde Briggs, was a civil rights activist in Franklin County, Mississippi, where he educated and empowered Black folks to vote. Him and his boys and his, the women he was working with would create transportation convoys to and from voting centers in order to protect voters from the Klan, who at that time were murdering and harassing and assaulting people who were attempting to exercise their right to vote and to live freely. My father is an activist. He's the one who taught me about theatrical protests and how to make statements through the theatrics. So the protest that I did was very theatrical, right? Hung a noose around my neck, Confederate flag. So it predates me. That's why I referenced the ancestors. My father actually brought a case against the state of Mississippi about the flag in 2001, around the same time they had the referendum vote. I was a kid at the time. But it was just one of the many causes that he felt that he had to speak out against. And he actually, I think it made it all the way to the Supreme Court, his case, before it got shut down. So these people who preceded us, because that flag flew 120 years. So even before my father and my grandfather, there was a whole slew of people who were doing what they could to say, this is not right. This is degrading to a huge portion of your population. Mississippi's almost 40% Black. It was 80% Black after the Civil War, right? But because of the terrorist efforts, the lynchings, the killings, the castrations, the rapes, there was a mass exodus of Black people, and then a mass disenfranchisement of the remaining population to not vote on, Black codes, felony laws, things like that. So like the history is what walks with me. So that's why I say I didn't take this flag down.
Right.
It was just a culmination of like knowing that history, and then our governor announcing April Confederate Heritage Month. That's why I did it in April. It just blew me out the water. Like I was so enraged. I did it for Emmett Till. I did it for all of the young Black people who have been murdered by state-sanctioned violence. I did it for them because they couldn't speak on this issue. And I was just like, hell no. The very least I can do is make a statement at this. It was a hip hop show. The very least I can do is make this statement. Whatever happens, I had no idea it was going to go viral. I had no idea that Anjanou Ellis and Reverend Jackie Lewis and these major public figures were going to take me under their wing and help me expand my voice and amplify my platform as an artist and activist. I had no idea that was coming.
Right.
But I trusted that I needed to make a statement, and that's all I knew. Is like I didn't want to let this go by without me speaking on it personally.
Right. That's really dope that you kind of had mentors kind of come to you and sponsors come to you and offer that support. That's really cool.
Oh no, they didn't come to me. People connected me with them. Like
even better though. So they saw you out there.
Susan Davis from NYU, like she was a coach for me at NYU when I was younger. She's the one who like saw what I was doing and was like connecting the dots. I had a manager at the time, Rowan Mesereau, who connected me with Anjanou's press PR, because Anjanou was already in the public eye on red carpets.
Got you.
Wearing things stating about the Mississippi. Like she was already doing this work, so it made sense for us to And if people don't know who Anjanou Ellis is, she's an amazing, talented activist and actress. She's in Lovecraft Country, Birth of a Nation, Quantico. She's just amazing.
She is incredible. So I know you don't have, there's no way you have a typical day, but can you kind of just talk through even like what today looks like for you or what yesterday looked like for you in terms of your work?
Right now we have a documentary called Mississippi Turning it's not out yet. It's making its way through the festival circuit. So yesterday we had a big Clubhouse event that kind of announcing this documentary. Anjanou was on it. Kat Cole, who's an amazing moderator and speaker on Clubhouse. Miss Gina Belafonte was on the panel. Just like an amazing support system, people who like saw the documentary privately, and then us speaking about the theme of the documentary, which is civil discourse and like what does it mean to reach across opposing views and have that healthy conversation. So the Clubhouse event was last night. This morning I had a podcast recording. Honestly speaking, I'm 1/3 of the co-host for that. Every day is really different. I'm actually in the process of trying to find a manager or agent because like it's really difficult. It's been a difficult transition for me to start doing this full time and manage speaking inquiries and appearances. So I'll put that out there for your audience. And when the documentary drops, we have Sarah Silverman as an executive producer. Anjanou Ellis is going to. Yeah, things are going to be in demand and opportunity for me to share my message of people, not things, and humanizing issues and humanizing people, because there's a lot of dehumanization going on, and there's the cause of these issues. So every day is different. I hear you. I talk to my family as much as I possibly can. I learn as much as I possibly can. I'm trying to learn more about financial literacy, and I have support systems who are, teaching me about those kind of things. Constant student, just like when we was back in school.
Yeah, you have to be, right? That's the only way to grow and to just evolve yourself. What do you enjoy most about your work? Like what really like gets you up every day? Like, yes, let's get it.
From time to time, I get correspondence from young people, especially like young people in the Deep South in Mississippi, who feel like they are outside the box. Like maybe it's a young trans kid in Mississippi, or a young Black woman who wants to be an artist and doesn't feel like she has the support or understand, how that translates. They reach out to me and ask me questions and explain to me how my work may offer them an alternative, and how they view their power and how they view their voice and their uniqueness.
That's real.
That keeps me going. Like one of those messages can fuel me for a year, honestly.
Yeah, I love that. It doesn't take much. I mean, yeah, that's real, because it's hard, especially in places like the South, or I grew up mostly in the Midwest, but spent a lot of summers down South. And it's like, if you don't fit a specific mold or look or personality type, like you could feel so othered in a way. So it's a beautiful thing that people, especially as young people, are able to see you and then reach out and have that connection. In contrast, what do you dislike about what you do? So what are the pain points?
The mental health aspect of it, the anxiety, the backlash, being targeted or having people that I love targeted because of the work that I do, and the effect that has on my mental. I'm a lot better now because I've learned more about therapy and self-care, meditation, prayer, healthy eating, sobriety. I'm really big on sobriety now. I was not. I was not a couple years ago. That's been difficult to navigate, and another thing that I think I want to start focusing more on and advocating, especially for younger people who want to do similar work, and them understanding, like, I don't want them to have to reach a breaking point before they realize they have to prioritize their mental health and spiritual health first. I want to be an advocate for that, and for the rest of my career, to kind of help people who will inevitably experience that if this is the type of service that they choose.
Yeah, for sure. Thinking about it early on, like what are the tools that you have for yourself to keep yourself going and mentally and emotionally healthy is so
Yeah,
important for sure.
boundaries, man, boundaries.
Boundaries matter. Oh my gosh, I was
Boundaries
having a
matter.
conversation with friends earlier this week about that, and it's like you really have to set boundaries, and it's boundaries for everyone, including family. Black people get nervous when it comes to setting boundaries for family. You have to set boundaries for people in your life.
1000%.
Yeah, for sure. Um, we talked a little bit about it, but how did you get into this work? I know you said that your grandfather was into it, but I mean, a lot of kids growing up may see somebody and be like, oh, my parent does XYZ, but they don't necessarily follow that path. What was it specifically about activism work and music that really stood out to you and made you want to pursue it long term?
Sure. I think being a pure artist, I've always been like that since I was a child and a extremely empathetic person. So when I would see things that were going on in the world or even that happened in history, I would really internalize that. And art was the outlet that saved me, that saved my life and saved me from the rage that was inside of me and gave me an outlet to express um, the pain that I channeled, that I feel like ran through me from the things that I would witness in the people around me in my community and their pain, and my own personal pain, my own personal traumas. I've always been like that, even as a little girl and expressive with poetry. And then I got into hip hop around age 12, and that really gave me a voice. Like hip hop was made me the, when you see the bold side of Genesis, the unapologetic,
Oh, yeah.
a monster on stage, like that's all hip hop that helped guide me. And also being raised Muslim, like Islam has been the path. Islam is a religion of compassion and humanity, and that has also informed my work. So I've just always felt the need to use my voice and my God-given talents as a way to speak on issues that are important to me. And that's not always social justice issues. That's just
Mm,
part of it. I enjoy speaking and rapping about sex and sensuality and the complexities and multifacetedness of people, and like to tell stories. And it's just my outlet. And so the social justice aspect, it's not like I set out to do that particularly. I'm just expressing how I feel.
for sure. I love that. Using it as an outlet. So, any final words? What are some, maybe tangible action steps that you would tell somebody or advice you give somebody that is interested in pursuing the work that you're doing?
Well, first off, thank you for thinking of me and thank you for having me.
Of
It's
course. I appreciate you being
yes.
here.
Yeah, let's catch up more. Um, Secondly, seek mentorship in the sectors in which you want to work. And that doesn't necessarily mean hitting up or blind emailing people asking for their time. That's not what I mean, but following and learning from other people's paths. There's always a blueprint. Some, depending on what you choose to do, there might be less of a blueprint, but you'll be able to find similar blueprints in walks of life. That you'll be able to learn from other people's failures, learn from other people's triumphs, study the greats. That's what Snoop Dogg taught me when I met him. Study the greats in your sector and have your own unique way. Come from an intention of love, not an intention of fear or taking. Like live in abundance and come from that intention, because your intentions will always reflect how things go for you.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. And if there's any young art activists out there who are watching, I'm pretty accessible. If you just like want to hit me up and talk, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but I definitely will want to hear from you and hear what you are passionate about.
That's dope. Yeah, for sure. Let go of that scarcity mindset, y'all. That's what I heard, right? Bring abundance, speak abundance, manifest. I love that. You kind of hinted at it. I know you have a film that's out, but anything else that you want to plug, you want people to keep an eye out for that's coming out this year, or any ways that you like folks to follow you?
My Instagram is what I'm on the most. So that's just at Genesis B. That's the letter B, the letter E. And my Spotify, if you search Genesis B, can keep up with my new music, and genesisb.com to follow my breadcrumbs.
Well, I appreciate you again. I can't wait to continue following all the amazing things that you're doing. Again, this was an episode of Black Folks Doing Extraordinary Things with Genesis B, aka Low Key, as I called her in college. One of the most amazing hip hop artists I've ever met. I remember you were like one of the first people I met when I got here, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. This is wild. How did I get here? How am I so honored? But I'm so happy we've been able to reconnect and excited to see what's to come for you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Until next time, y'all.